Hello everyone, my name is Zenitsu and I'm back with another episode of Spoiler Sundays. So Spoiler Sundays is the time of the week where I take a look at all of the spoilers that happened over this past week and, well, talk about them. We had a pretty light week for spoilers, but we did get a couple of new cards coming out from the Imperialdramon starter deck because the starter decks are the next thing to release in Japan and they need to finish releasing all of those cards. So all of the players who want to pick up the starter deck know what's going to be in the starter decks. And just as a quick reminder, I am going to be hosting a Win a Playmat event on October 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so feel free to hop into my Discord and register for the event through Limitless Games and play on my Discord channel. Links to those will be in the description below. So without further ado, on to the spoilers. First up, we have Gran Kuagamon. So Gran Kuagamon is going to be the supporting mega for the Imperialdramon starter deck, and this card still isn't that bad. So it has a play cost of 12, it evos for 3 off of green, and it has 11,000 DP. So your very average level 6 stat line. But on top of that, it has 2 abilities. Its first ability is Security Attack +1, which is pretty decent because it allows the card to deal additional security damage onto the opponent, further pressuring their security and helping you close out games. And then on top of that, he has a nice secondary ability of when Digivolving, this Digimon gets plus 4,000 DP for the turn. So it seems like the whole intended synergy that the card has natively with itself is you're going to move your level 5 out of Raising, and then you're going to then Digivolve right into Gran Kuagamon, assuming you won't be passing the turn, and you could then use his when Digivolving ability to give him the 4,000, making him 15k when he's swinging, and he'll have the Security Attack +1, ensuring that he's going to have a easier time attacking into the opponent's security and getting those security checks. And then I think this card is actually pretty decent in his own little deck, just because there is a decent amount of cards to support him in this style of play. So we do have Kokuamon as an example from BT01, where he could just give this Gran Kuagamon an additional security attack, so that way he'll be swinging for 3 checks instead of his native 2. And then on top of that, we even have Chaosmon to Digivolve off of this Gran Kuagamon, because that plus 4,000 DP boost will carry over onto the Chaosmon, and if we do have that same stack with Kokuamon underneath, then that Chaosmon will also have Security Attack +1, basically swinging for all of the opponent's security in one turn with that setup and combo. And then that's not including any other cards that are increasing his DP or doing various abilities, because green is just a very tempo efficient color that also has lots of different things that it could be doing on its various levels, and it could all make for a very interesting deck, especially since we also do have cards from the Classic Collection that are also going to be helping this type of gameplay, just because a lot of the cards from the Classic Collection are playing around with Insectoid and Ancient Insectoid, and Gran Kuagamon is an Insectoid. So there is just a decent amount of things that you could be doing with him, and I think he's going to be a pretty decent card, even though he does seem a little bit on the basic side. Next, we have a new version of Stingmon, and this new version of Stingmon is basically acting as another card to just help you Jogress into your Imperialdramon or Dinobemon. So it's taking a lot of what made the XVmon really good and applying it here, where it has a very similar stat line, if not the same stat line, where it hard plays for 4, evos for 2 off of blue or green, and it has 4,000 DP with 2 abilities. So the big difference is that this has an inheritable ability where it incentivizes you actually Digivolving into this Digimon rather than hard playing it, but it has a nice ability native to it that makes it hard playing it even easier in case you do run into those situations. So its native ability is while you have a blue Digimon in play, you get to reduce the memory cost to play this card from your hand by 1. So it's another level 4 that essentially plays for 3. Again, just there to try to make it Jogressing into your Dinobemon or Imperialdramon that much easier and that much more efficient. And it has a nice inheritable ability of when attacking, if we have a blue Digimon in play, then we get to draw 1 card. Obviously, this inheritable ability wants to be triggering itself off of our higher levels, because the Imperialdramon and Imperialdramon and Dinobemon all count as blue Digimon as well. well, so it's just a very easy way to just get an additional card draw just from playing this card. So it having this nice card draw ability is really good, not only just for the Imperialdramon in the starter deck, but for some of the ones outside of the deck, just because the ones that we currently have to be playing with is we do have two Imperialdramons that are blue, one from the Classic Collection and the Super Rare from BT03 or Special Booster 1.5, so it does have some nice synergy and combo play with them, especially since this card's when attacking ability isn't limited to once per turn, so you could figure out lines of play to just get multiple swings off, because we do have a BT03 or Special Booster 1.5 Imperialdramon to combo with this card, so that way you can ensure your Imperialdramon is going to have multiple swings, allowing you to get multiple card draws off of this card. And then I do think that this card is really good just because it does make some other cards even more playable. So you could line up this really interesting play where you actually could use the Memorial option card of DNA Digivolution Hearts United, just because that card is asking for a XVmon and Stingmon, which in previous iterations of the deck was a little bit much to ask for, just because we didn't want to run it two colors, because two colors was just that much harder to play in order to play our Imperialdramon for free. But now that we have multiple different Stingmons that all act as a nice bridge between the colors, because we do have the one from the Classic Collection in combination with this, in combination of that XVmon and the new XVmon, we actually could consider using DNA Digivolution Hearts United more efficiently than we could before, and being able to spawn a level 5 Digimon for free to just get into an easy level 6 could be just that good, all depending on how you want to incorporate and use the card. So I do think there is some testing and experimentation there, on top of just all of the different ways that we already have to play Imperialdramon thanks to these new cards. And then the last new card that we got spoiled for this week is going to be a new version of Werman. So this Werman is acting similar to a lot of the other level 3s that we saw come from the starter deck, where he could digivolve off of either a blue egg or a green egg, so you could really start customizing your eggs to find a really solid combination or synergy. And then on top of that, he does have some slightly reduced DP compared to the others, so he only has 3000 DP, but that does come with the fact that he does have an inheritable ability, and his inheritable ability is basically taking a page from Gatomon from the Mastimon starter deck, where it triggers at the end of the turn. You can DNA Digivolve this Digimon and one of your other Digimon into a Digimon from your hand by paying its DNA Digivolution cost. So it seems like the whole intended synergy is you're going to Digivolve your stack from your egg into Werman, and then from Werman into Stingmon, and then you could hard play the XVmon, and if the turn passes over to the opponent, then you could use Werman's ability to DNA Digivolve at the end of the turn into either Imperialdramon or Dinobemon, and end the turn on a level 5. So that just is some pretty strong synergy and allows you to go up the levels very quickly and very efficiently, on top of both of those Digimon already being pretty decent in their own right. So I think this Werman is going to be really good inside of the DNA Digivolution style gameplay the starter deck wants to enforce, and I do think that based on all of the information we have, this is going to be a very powerful and very interesting starter deck to not only pick up, but to upgrade, and Imperialdramon as a whole is looking to have a lot of diverse and flexible options on how you could play him and what you could do with him. But I do think this ability also is really good in the future as well, as they expand multicolor Digimon, which they're inevitably going to do, or at least a transition type Digimon where they could digivolve off of both colors, is slowly going to make colors matter less and less, so that way you could use this card in combination with some other future DNA Digivolutions to do some really crazy and wacky things with, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing about it is it just allows you to do more with your decks and create some really interesting strategies and synergies. The downside is it is sacrificing the whole color restriction, just because two-color and transition Digimon are already very dangerous to be playing around with, because it's going to make colors matter less and less in the end. So that's all I really have for this video. As always, feel free to tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and down in the description below are a couple of different ways you could support me and the channel. So I do have a TCG Player affiliate link, so when you use that link to buy cards off of TCG Player, then some of that money will go to supporting me and the channel. I also do make and sell playmats over on Overcard Gamers on Facebook, so when you buy a playmat with my design, then some of that money will also go to help supporting me and the channel. And on top of all of that, I do have a Twitch account over on twitch.tv/Zenitsu, so giving me a follow and a subscription also helps support me there, and I do play Digimon on top of various other games on that platform as well. So thank you everyone for watching, and as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.